Dive the Metaverse, a podcast exploring cult classics, subculture, and geek media. I'm Nick.
And I'm Dave.
And we're going to take a slight format break from our normal podcast to bring you, I guess, sort of a combination hot take and deep dive of the just released today Dune trailer.
Yeah, Dune 2020 trailer was released today, and we watched it. We're going to talk about it and pick it apart sequentially, just like we would do a deep dive. But it's only a 3-minute trailer.
Yeah, it wasn't entirely intentional, but Dune has taken a very large role in our podcast. It seems to get mentioned every single episode.
It's very important.
Yeah, and it seems to be the yardstick by which we measure all film. And
yeah. I think that's legitimate.
So it seemed like we had to give a little special spotlight to this and this upcoming movie that we're looking forward to.
Yeah, we're definitely going to do a hot take on that movie. I don't know if we can formally deep dive it right after it comes out theatrically, unless it's a digital theatrical release where we can go through and pause and be really methodical about it.
Warner Brothers is pretty committed to the theatrical experience. They're not doing video on demand for Tenet. They're not doing it for Wonder Woman.
Okay, well then we're doing just a straight up hot take on that one.
Yeah, if provided that theaters are open in the foreseeable future.
So what were you thinking before this even came out? What were your anticipatory thoughts?
Before this came out, well, I'm not super familiar with Denis Villeneuve, but I'm
gonna mangle that name.
But I did see Blade Runner 2049, and I know you did also.
And I liked it.
Yes, it was definitely an experience of a film. I saw that up at the Cinerama in Seattle, and I definitely want to see this movie on a similar, like as big a screen as possible with as loud a system, because sound is a big part in his movies, I think.
Yeah, even just watching the trailer, it looks like it definitely looks like the same maker of Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah, he has an aesthetic, and it's very feels very immersive. But anyways, back to my preconceived thoughts. I expect this movie to do something to me kind of like Blade Runner did, which I thought was a really beautiful and epic movie, but left me feeling like sort of like depressed and hollowed out inside at the end of it. So I kind of expect something similar. Although I guess where the first book ends, it is sort of still at a kind of upbeat point. So
yeah, it's kind of victorious at the end.
Yeah, there's more tragedy in the later books.
For sure. Well, I've got a lot of big hopes for this. I like a lot of these actors. I'm really happy with a lot of their casting choices, so that made me excited for this.
Oh yeah, that's a heavyweight cast.
Yeah, I don't really know Timothée Chalamet's work very well. What does he play? What's he known for?
Oh, I don't know either. I know was it About a Boy or something?
He's
something
not
like
an
that.
Action star.
No,
Let's just put it that way.
He's not. He was in a very very big, well received drama like a year or two ago, and was kind of like the it young man.
Yeah, and I don't even really know the young lady who's playing Cheney, but she looks the part, and in the trailer she does really good.
Yeah,
so.
Zendaya is a great actress.
Yeah,
maybe it's too early to say great, but she is a promising young actress.
She's promising. So I guess I have a lot of hopes for this. I tend to be an optimist about the IPs that I'm into, and then I tend to shit on it when it's done, which sucks because I want to like it so bad. But stuff like when I get really excited, and then you get like the 3 Hobbit movies, and you're like,
ooh, the Hobbits were tough.
Yeah, and I love the Hobbit. Yeah, like the book is like that's pure gold to me.
That's my favorite of the Tolkien books, and it definitely, those 3 movies were a slog. At the end of the first one, I could still convince myself that these were going to be good, but
sure,
it just didn't pan out that way. There was a lot of filler.
Yeah, I just wish they had made one tight movie covering the major beats. But let's talk about this Dune 2020 trailer. It opens up with the Warner Brothers logo, grimdark. It reminds me of Batman.
Yeah. Well, it's a legendary Pictures production, so that definitely is in the same house as the Dark Knight trilogy and the Blade Runner movie, and Legendary does sort of the prestige movies for Warner Brothers, or maybe not prestige. It's not the epic special effects spectacular movies for Warner Brothers.
And I guess we should mention we are taking some cues from the Nerdist.com website, or just Nerdist.com. They do a scene-by-scene breakdown website on their website that I've been using just sort of as an outline so that I can get like a visual cue in a way, because this is in a video format for our podcast. They just have a nice long form layout that's easy for us to scroll through.
Yeah, thanks to the Nerdist, or I guess like you just said, now it's just Nerdist. It wouldn't be convenient for us both to be huddled around the laptop screen watching this, so they broke it all down for us, and we'll use them for our outline.
Yeah, so I mean, this movie, one thing that is really interesting about it is it opens up and it starts off with Paul's dreams, which I thought was pretty cool. But the thing that really struck me immediately is so it opens with Paul and images of Cheney, and he's dreaming of her, and then he talks. He says, "There's something happening to me," and I immediately think, what? That is like the most like tiny mumbly voice. Like this kid is no Kyle Mack. Like that's literally the first thing I thought.
Yeah. Well,
he's like mumbly and hunched over with squinty kind of dreamy eyes, and I'm like, oh, here we go. Crush this for me.
That's a really funny reaction. Because to me the thing that's obviously different about him from Kyle MacLachlan is he actually seems like he's a teenager.
Yeah,
as opposed
really
to like
young.
a 30-year-old man portraying a teenager.
Yeah, I would have said that the Kyle MacLachlan Paul was probably like 25.
Yeah.
And this guy looks like he's 15. I'm sure the actor's 20 or whatever.
Yeah, he probably is his early 20s. I meant to look that up before we got started.
But just the initial kind of like, there's something happening to me. I'm just like, womp womp.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't bother me. It's Paul's prophetic dreams. That's a key point in the book.
It is.
And it feels dreamy. Like it feels like
he's like half asleep.
Yeah, and not quite sure where reality and begins and the dream ends.
I mean, I say that just because I didn't expect to feel that way, but ultimately I got past it pretty fast. Especially in some of the scenes that are coming up. I kind of just forgot about his voice.
Yeah, and it goes in his vision. He sees Cheney kind of up on a ridge, and she's wearing like a sheer sort of linen outfit.
Yeah.
And then they're immediately up close to each other in full still suits, and they go in for a kiss.
Yeah, it's very montagey. The whole cut of this trailer is it's extremely cut. Like, and they travel in time, like beginning scenes, later scenes, beginning scenes. It really moves a lot in order to make, like, this trailer very clearly is its own entity. It's not just sort of like let's do the high points chronologically.
Yeah.
It's not chronological at all.
But something I did notice is basically the whole trailer takes place within the first act of the book. There's nothing in it much beyond when Paul and his mother first encounter the Fremen.
Yeah, but would you call that all first act? Because they get into the whole battle with the Harkonnens and all of that. It feels like it goes to the middle of the movie, of the book, but nothing near the end. Not even 3/4.
Yeah. Well, to me, when the Harkonnens come and attack them, that's basically the climax of the first act.
Okay.
Because I mean, I would break up that book into 3 movies probably myself.
Oh man, you're gonna pull a Peter David on this.
Or Peter Jackson.
Peter Jackson, whatever. The guy I loved the Lord of the Rings, and he just, whatever. Let's not talk about him.
Yeah.
So anyway, he goes in for the kiss, and it's very quick. Like, this isn't like a lingering trailer. No scene spends almost any amount of time. It's like if you're in a scene for 10 seconds, that's long. Yeah,
it's just to give you a series of impressions. Then we see Paul wakes up in his bed, and I'm kind of immediately struck by the design style on the headboard, because it's very House Atreides. Like, this stuff is described in detail in the book, and you see a lot of it in this quick trailer.
I think that the set design was really good. I think that this really paints a picture of, this is a prince, he's the heir to a duke, but he's this super rich guy, and his family has its own culture for sure.
Yeah.
It's really cool. I liked everything that happened on Caladan. I liked. That's
but then
pretty much across the board.
We get a jump cut to a shot of Paul and his mother kind of looking at Arrakis in flames, and the voiceover says there's a crusade coming.
Yeah, I guess it's sort of like Paul just woke up from a dream, and he was dreaming of the crusade, and he saw his mother. That's the impression that I got, because it jumped into the future, but he's having prophetic dreams. So is this another dream piece?
Is this part of his dream?
Yeah,
and it's not really clear if that is... If I hadn't read the book, I would actually think he was standing there with Chani, because of the height and everything. And she's wearing, I think, a still suit with the sort of Bedouin style robes. But I know from context that that's his mother. Yeah,
for sure. That's definitely Lady Jessica, and they're definitely on Arrakis.
And then we go to the scene with Paul and the Bene Gesserit, where he has to put his hand in the box.
Yeah, so up until this part, you hadn't really seen Paul looking like a formal nobleman. But then he's standing there, his hair is clearly styled, he's wearing the black jacket with the Atreides emblem on the collar, and it just looks really cool and really formal.
Very regal, and very much just like how it's described in the books.
Yeah, it's awesome, and I love their prop for the Gom Jabbar. It's so much cooler than the previous movies. I've never seen a cool kind of jade looking, like, it's an interesting stone. I don't know.
Is it jade, or is it like a copper with a patina on it?
Yeah.
It's definitely green, and it's very ornate and religiously significant.
Yeah, and it's a really cool prop. I got to give him love for that. And then you see it flashes over to Reverend Mother Gaius Helen Mohayim, and she's got this face covering that's like this bead lattice or bead fishnet thing, and it just makes her creepy.
Yeah.
Rather than being just like an old lady with an English accent, which is what she is, she's just like this creeper witch lady.
Yeah, I really liked that too. It really kind of played up how creepy the Bene Gesserit are.
That whole scene was really awesome. In the book, it was one of my favorite scenes. I really liked it in the previous movie, the classic Dune. But this particular scene looks really promising as well. I'm really into it.
And then we go to Paul and Gurney Halleck training with their what were the force field suits called? Do you remember what those are called?
I think they just called them shields.
Shield suits.
Yeah, personal shields or some Holtzman shields.
Yeah, I really like the effect in this. I actually liked it in the David Lynch movie too, but this is obviously much more modern,
next level.
And God, I love Josh Brolin as Gurney Halleck. I think that's great casting. That's so good.
He was one of my favorite members of this cast, and this scene with Patrick Stewart in the David Lynch version is one of my favorite scenes in that movie. And so seeing this done really well with excellent fight choreography, really good special effects, it works so much better fast than it did slow.
Yeah. And this was a scene I was definitely looking forward to since watching the David Lynch movie. I thought this is going to look really cool in the new movie.
Yeah, I was really impressed by that scene, and that actually, I turned the corner on this actor Timothée Chalamet on that scene because he does it so well. Like he's whip quick, he does awesome choreographed moves, and it's really good.
You know, the thing that makes him like Kyle Mack. Is that majestic hair.
Yeah,
he does have this great head of wavy dark hair.
I was thinking to myself as I was watching this, I was like, should I do that? Because my hair's wavy like that.
That'd be awesome.
I mean, I know you're a big proponent of the mullet. This is not a mullet, but it's definitely a retro style, which I guess is...
Yeah, so Gurney Halleck, now early in the story, he's got a buzz cut.
Yeah.
Does he return with the mullet in the third act the way he does in the old movie?
I really hope he does.
I do too.
I just want to see Josh Brolin with a mullet.
Yeah. Well, in the interviews
and a pug,
definitely carrying a pug. The interview segment that ran before this trailer premiered on Twitter, he had long hair in the interview, so it's possible at the end of the movie his hair is longer.
Is it real or is it a wig? Because I follow him on Instagram and he pretty much rocks the short hair all the time.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we'll see. We'll just have to see when we get there.
Yeah, another thing that kind of struck me is they don't try to make these actors seem younger. Like Josh Brolin's a dude in his 50s and they don't try to hide that. He's got a gray stubbly beard.
Yeah.
He's got salt and pepper hair, but he's clearly like a very fit dude. Like, but I like that they let these guys just be their age.
Yeah, I like that too. I mean, and obviously, the 50s don't look like they looked on our grandparents.
Oh yeah,
Josh Brolin versus like my grandpa at that same age. There's no contest there.
There's things have changed in the world of working out and nutrition. So it kind of moves on and it cuts from that scene to Duke Leto, and he's in front of this like rune stone. It kind of reminds me like the inscription. It looks like a Norman warrior from the Middle Ages, like with a long coat and like a steel cap and a long sword. He looks like a crusader to me almost.
Well, yeah, and that kind of fits. That word got mentioned earlier, crusade, and that fits with the style of the House Atreides. When you think of Caladan and you think of sort of their palace up on this cliff overlooking the sea, which I don't know where they shot. I would think somewhere in Britain, just looking at it.
Like Scotland or something.
Yeah, and it looks like Caladan.
It's so beautiful. Like that part, that whole scene, I love that kind of landscape. Obviously, like I love the Columbia River Gorge and I love the coast of the Pacific Northwest, and that kind of rocky oceanic thing just sort of speaks to me. And it was really cool seeing those scenes. And during the entire time, you've got this voiceover from the Reverend Mother talking to Paul, like, your father's losing his planet. Oh, he's getting a richer one. He'll lose that one too. It's like interesting if they brought this in from some other scene.
I think it's all from that early scene with him and her after he passes the Gom Jabbar test. She's dropping truth bombs on him, and he's in denial about it, but she doesn't tell him any lies.
Yeah, and I think lastly, I think Duke Leto himself, this actor,
Oscar Isaac.
yeah, he looks right for this part. And
Oh,
again,
definitely.
he has salt and pepper in his beard and his hair, and he just looks right. Because the Atreides people are supposed to be darker complected with dark hair, and they they just chose good people for these roles.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting. He's an interesting choice because of the Star Wars connection. Of course, people call Dune Star Wars for goths. And
I would call it Star Wars for adults.
And that's what Denis Villeneuve says, is it's Star Wars for grown-ups.
Okay, yeah, because I mean, Star Wars is some patty cake stuff
compared to Dune. Well, I
mean, you've seen the latest 3 movies, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We're done with it.
Okay, and so we get our first good glimpse of Lady Jessica.
Yeah.
Paul's mother and Duke Leto's concubine.
She looks really austere. Like, she does not look soft in any way. Like in the David Lynch version, the first time you see her, she looks very pretty, and she looks kind of ethereal. Like, she looks like a very fancy noble lady. When you get a look at her in this trailer, she just looks hard.
Yeah, and it kind of suits her role because she is not the Duke's. She's not the Duchess. She is just his concubine because she's not a noble person.
Yeah, and her features are different. She doesn't look like Duke Leto or Paul. She has those fair features because we all know her real bloodline. She comes from Harkonnen lines,
Right.
And it's not really clear if she knows that very well, but the casting certainly reflects it. She's very pale. She
Reddish hair.
She's got the look.
And then we go to the Atreides family arrival on Arrakis.
Yeah, because like when you're looking at the Lady Jessica scene, it's very clear there are servants milling about and they're packing things up. And we were sort of told they're moving planets in the voiceover from the Reverend Mother, like, we're getting a new planet. He'll lose that too. So we're kind of given these. We're told that they're moving, and then next thing you see Duke Leto in this totally badass armor.
I do. I really like their armor.
So cool. Like, why would you not have that?
It's true, and it's they have a really tough job in this movie. In that the David Lynch movie is so iconic, and
It's a 3.5 movie according to Nick.
or 3.25, but it is so iconic and influential style wise, and
Has so much of that deco look to it.
yeah, and you can't just totally reject that, but you also don't want to copy it, and you want to steer close to the book. And I feel like they are kind of walking that line through this whole thing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool when you get that look, that when they're looking out and they see the Atreides soldiers and they see all of their spaceships like landed and whatnot. I was chuckling to myself as I wondered, like, did Elon Musk help with the design? Because these all kind of look like Cybertrucks.
On the Atreides ships.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then not to jump too far ahead, we see some Fremen ships and stuff that look like dragonflies.
Yeah, they're all like pod-like. They're
Yeah.
kind of I guess they have soft curving lines as opposed to these hard flat surfaces.
And that actually is more the way they're described in the book than they were shown in the previous film.
Oh yeah, I think they were really a slave to the technology of the time with the last film.
Yeah, they're just, some of this stuff just wouldn't work.
Yeah, and I like it. They're looking out from these guild transport ships, and they're looking at all their troops and all of that stuff, and they're walking off the ship, and boom, Duncan, Idaho.
Yeah, I like Duncan Idaho, played by Khal Drogo himself. He gets a lot more. It's almost like he has more screen time in this trailer than he had in the whole David Lynch movie.
Oh yeah, Duncan Idaho was not a huge thing in the David Lynch movie, but in this trailer, it's very clear he's going to be a big deal.
Yeah.
It makes me think that the writing team on this movie has read not just the first book, but all the books.
Yeah.
Because Duncan, Idaho becomes a fairly big deal going forward.
Yeah. And so Duncan, Idaho, is portrayed by Jason Momoa, just runs up and bear hugs Paul.
And he does the whole Jason Momoa thing where he gets low and like tackle hugs him and lifts him way off the ground.
Yeah, just like the meme with Henry Cavill where he's sneaking up on him.
Yeah, he does exactly that. And that's super cool because that's the real Jason Momoa. He's just a really, really happy, enthusiastic dude.
And he, in the interview with Stephen Colbert, he described Duncan, Idaho as like the house samurai to House Atreides.
Okay, yeah, and that makes sense.
Yeah, he's like the Yojimbo, like the samurai bodyguard, and that's great casting.
And in future books, Duncan, Idaho he ends up being cloned by by the people from Ix and all this stuff. But anyway, he's described as the ultimate and primordial man DNA. He's kind of like the quintessential like human male. That's why they choose his DNA.
That makes sense with Jason Momoa's caveman forehead. He's got that Cro-Magnon brow.
He's supposed to be the most kind of like the proper example of a human male.
I can see that. That was a spoiler for me because I've only read the first book, so
sorry,
I thought he died.
Well, he does, but they use his DNA to clone. That's a thing in the Dune universe. They can clone from DNA. Mm-hmm. So it's not actually our beloved Duncan, Idaho. It's Duncan, Idaho's DNA
2.0.
Yeah. And many, 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 many more.
I see. Oh man.
Yeah.
We're getting way ahead.
Way ahead. They're not going to make movies out of that stuff, so don't worry about it.
You sure?
Oh, I don't think so. Because the next book is not even about Paul. It's about Paul's son.
Oh, man, you're full of Dune spoilers.
Dude, these books are from the 70s.
That's fair.
I read them in high school.
All right. Did you see the Mentat in that scene?
I think that he is.
Back there with he's got like the parasol over his shoulder.
Yeah, I think that's supposed to be Thufir, and he's
you're right.
Just sort of, he's a softer guy, and he's not as big of a deal in this particular scene. But it's pretty cool that they have him there, and that guy seems to look the part well enough. And then they kind of cut over, and you see this guy in full Fremen gear with blue eyes, and it happens to be Stilgar.
Oh man! If Stilgar and Paul, I hope they high five on top of a sandworm.
That is an iconic scene
where they're just up there riding together. Dude, we need that.
The original, the David Lynch. Stilgar is such an awesome actor. Like that portrayal was golden. Like I loved it. It was so good. And so after that kind of arriving on Arrakis cutscene, they switch over and you hear this voiceover, Arrakis is a death trap. And you go over and you see what could only be something evil because it's got bad weather and people are standing in formation. It reminds me of like the orcs outside of Isengard. Yeah. But those have to be Sardaukar or Harkonnen troops or something horrible.
Yeah, you definitely, it seems like we go over to the Harkonnens' planet because everything is much more grim and Soviet looking. And we get a glimpse of the Beast Raban, played by Dave Bautista.
And he looks so cool.
Yeah.
Like he's wearing this armor and he just looks like a big badass dude. It's awesome. He's supposed to be like the enforcer who goes in with the iron boot.
Yeah, and I think he definitely embodies that more than the way that character was portrayed as kind of just like a hefty ginger guy in the David Lynch movie.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
He looks more like someone you'd call Beast.
Yeah, the guy in the David Lynch version, he tried to be like really overly dramatic with his acting and his big laughs and all that. But Dave Bautista, it just has this intensity in his eyes, and he just pulls it off a lot better.
and you get a little glimpse of the Baron Vladimir Harkonnen in kind of a steam bath or something. They're saving the big reveal of his full grotesque form. And I think that's smart, because that's going to be probably something to behold.
What did you think of the casting of Stellan Skarsgård for that?
I like that. For a few, his accent, I like for that character.
A little stronger, a little harsher.
Yeah, there's something about, is he Norwegian or Danish?
Yeah, vaguely Scandinavian.
Some Scandinavian, yeah. And Harkonnen sounds like a Danish name, or a Scandinavian name.
For sure.
And he's got a presence, like something similar to like a Werner Herzog sort of thing, if he wants to do that. And I think that'll be really effective.
And they kind of, I don't know, at this point it's like some really fast cuts, because it's like a music montage and you flash to some flaming trees.
Yeah, the flaming palm trees, we're in the midst of the most brutal wildfire season on record or something.
Yeah, on the West Coast, it's really bad.
Yeah, and those flaming palm trees seemed very prescient to the time we're in right now.
Yeah, it's kind of weird when that happens on these sort of things, and it's kind of it doesn't give you any context. It's just sort of like dark place, bad guys, fire, and then cuts to Lady Jessica.
Yeah, it's just giving you mood, basically.
Yeah, there's no dialogue or anything like that, and it cuts right to Lady Jessica kind of standing there on Arrakis, and then Paulus talking. Says, this is an extermination, about how their family's being attacked.
And then we get a quick glimpse of Dr. Yui.
Oh, yeah.
I recognize that Mr. Sinister diamond on his forehead right off the bat.
Yeah, for sure. And this guy, he's played by Chen Chang, who I'm not really familiar with his work, but Dr. Yui's a really complicated character in the books.
Oh, definitely.
He's extremely conflicted, and he's really interesting fellow. So I'm looking forward to see this depiction. I really liked the depiction in the David Lynch movie. I think he did a really good job with that character and the imperial conditioning and all that stuff.
So something I don't want to see that was in the David Lynch movie, and I don't want to see in this movie, even though it sort of worked in the old one, is I don't want to hear people's internal monologues.
You don't like voiceovers?
No, I don't like the sort of comic book thought bubble thing that happens. A voice, you can effectively use a voiceover, but there's something very weird about listening to the character's thoughts.
I mean, that was one of your major complaints about the David Lynch one. And I don't love it either.
Yeah.
I don't love all of the voiceovers because it's just bad storytelling.
Well, it's, I understand, because a lot of that book takes place in Paul's head. And how do you get that out there? How do you put it on the screen? All the stuff that he's thinking, like the mantras he chants to himself and all of that stuff.
Do you think they'll do that mantra? Because that was straight out of the David Lynch movie. That wasn't in the book.
What, the fear is the mind killer?
No, not the litany against fear, but by my mind gains quickness and all. I can't even remember the mantra. There's a few things that are Lynchisms that are not in the book that were invented for the 84 movie.
Well, I don't think we're going to see like the weirding weapons or anything like that. Man. So I don't think any of that Lynchy stuff.
Do you think we're going to get the line, "My name is a killing word"?
No, I don't think we will.
That's gonna bite if they don't say that.
But
it's the name of episode 1 of this podcast.
Yeah, but there won't be any context for it at all. They just drop it in there,
just randomly. It's like, what do you mean, Paul? Never mind.
And so through this whole teaser or trailer, this Hans Zimmer arrangement of the Pink Floyd song Eclipse has been playing, but it really is kicking into gear now.
Oh yeah, they just turn it up. What do you think of that?
I've listened to that song so many times today, just kind of like to vibe on it.
Oh.
It's the closing track off Dark Side of the Moon.
Okay.
And it's generally paired with the track that precedes it called Brain Damage. One leads just right into the other one. But it's good. It's moody. I like Dark Side of the Moon, and the theme, the Dark Side of the Moon, that fits. Arrakis has two moons. The song Eclipse, with two moons, you're going to get eclipses. That's just that's a given.
Sure.
So I think it suits Dune, and of course the Jodorowsky version of Dune was supposed to have Pink Floyd do the score for it.
Yeah. So I don't dislike this song. I know that as a fan of rock and stuff, it's a little bit heretical to say Pink Floyd's not my favorite band. I don't really love their music. I like it.
Yeah.
But the thing that actually kind of distracts for me is as you go further in the trailer, the volume level of the music gets louder and louder as it builds to the crescendo. And the thing that actually kills me are the church choir vocals in it. Because there's a lead line in there. There's a soloist among the choir who's doing what would effectively be a guitar solo, but with her voice. And it's supposed to be background music. It's supposed to be mood setting, not attention grabbing, which is literally what a lead does. And so she's doing a lead, but it's a background piece. And I just don't like that. It does not seem like a musician arranged this trailer. It seems like they just wanted to get some Pink Floyd in there and then turn it up as you go. It wasn't well thought out from my perspective.
Interesting.
Because that part of the song is poorly served in that part of the trailer.
Okay. That's interesting. I can see that. It'll be interesting if the track gets used in the movie.
Or they just licensed it for a trailer.
Yeah.
That's got to be
but
cheaper.
It's not the album track. Like, it's not the Pink Floyd version of the track. It's a Hans Zimmer arrangement of it. So it certainly was made for the movie. It just might not get featured in the movie.
A lot of music doesn't make it that is, on the soundtrack.
Or it's during the credits or something like that.
Yeah, for sure. So back to the actual trailer. Believe it or not, this trailer, we're not done with it. And, it gets into this interesting part at this point where it's a music montage. And you see Chaney meeting...
Or you can skip over the Sardaukar.
Oh yeah, I guess I shouldn't. The Sardaukar drop in, and they're very much like stormtroopers. They're in pale colored
all in
armor.
white.
It covers their face, but they're way more badass than stormtroopers.
Oh yeah,
They look cool.
yeah. The Sardaukar are much more dangerous than stormtroopers are. They're more like clone troopers.
Yeah, they're death troopers, if you will.
Yeah.
And so they go in, and this is sort of like telling us there's a conflict here, and Paul says they give it to you. They don't want you to have to guess because it's a trailer. He says they're picking off my family one by one. In his kind of mumbly, raspy voice.
Whisper.
He just like a mumble rasp. I guess he could be like a SoundCloud famous or something.
He could be a SoundCloud rapper.
Yeah, with this mumble
Yeah,
rasp.
I could see him
does.
doing something like Lil Peep, like emo rap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really sad with those eyes.
Some face tattoos.
Could he get a teardrop?
Yeah, for sure.
And maybe something like a word across his cheekbone.
Yeah. It just says killing word there.
That would be amazing.
Okay, so we get to see Duncan Idaho chopping down Sardaukar.
Oh yeah, we get some sweet Jason Momoa like ass kicking action. He's in full Khal Drogo mode.
Yeah,
just killing dudes.
He said in the interview that he thinks Duncan Idaho would beat Khal Drogo in a fight.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of both IPs. I've read all of both of them. And yep, Duncan Idaho beats Khal Drogo. Duncan Idaho does not beat Jaime Lannister, but he does beat Khal Drogo.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know about that. Okay. Anyways, let's keep on track.
We could get off on a million of these. Who wins in a fight?
Oh yeah, that could be a whole episode.
Saitama though. We just draw the line there.
It's like One Punch Man.
Yeah,
that's sort of his deal. Okay, so another shot at Paul during the Gom Jabbar.
Yeah, it goes back in time now. Like it's like we just went from the war with Duncan Idaho fighting, and then flashes back to Paul with the Reverend Mother giving him the Gom Jabbar test.
So what that does to me is that almost gives me the impression that essentially Paul's watching this trailer. You know what I mean? Like,
these are his images of prophetic dreams.
Exactly. So like this whole thing is stuff as it flashes through his eyes is what we're getting to see. So I think that's what the story they're telling us with the trailer anyway.
I mean, that's a lot more forethought than I had given it, in that they strung together cool images in a sequence.
This struck me as a director-made trailer and not a studio-made trailer.
Oh, you think so? Yeah.
Yeah,
because I can see that.
Studio-made trailers always show you stuff from the third act, and directors hate that. Directors don't want you seeing the finale of the movie in the trailer. And do
you think Shai Hulud is from the first act?
Yeah, because that's when Paul and his mother escape. That's that
true.
Scene. That's the first time, or it's not the first. It's the second time you see one of those worms, but it's the first time Paul's like on the ground.
Yeah, because you see one earlier when him and Gurney rescue the men from the spice crawl, the dune crawler with the ornithopter, and you see the harvester unit just get eaten by Shai Hulud.
Right.
So that's really cool. Anyway, so we're jumping forward a little bit. He actually meets Chaney for real, and I don't remember exactly what he says.
Well, he says like, "I know you."
Yeah, something like that, and she clearly knows him.
Yeah, like, or she's definitely interested in him.
Sure.
And so this is something, Paul's familiarness with all the stuff with the Fremen, with the still suits and everything from his dreams is a key point in the book.
Yeah, it's Fremen prophecy.
Yeah.
That Muad'Dib will be as one with the...
Yeah, he knows your ways.
Yeah. Hopefully you guys aren't bothered by spoilers of the whole franchise, because if you've probably made it to this episode, you probably listened to episode 1.
Yeah, so most likely. Unless you started with this one. That was weird. Why'd you do that?
A hot take on a trailer was your intro? Crazy.
You're like, well, this one's under 3 hours. I think I'll give it a shot.
All right, so then we go back to cool scenes. Like, it's like, boom, we had a moment there of calm, and then it goes back to like explosions and war scenes where you see like ornithopters flying, and you see like Atreides men fighting.
Yeah, Gurney Halleck kind of recoiling from a big explosion.
He doesn't know you're supposed to walk away from explosions. That's what to do.
Yeah.
He's not. Duncan Idaho would know.
He's doing what a hero does, which is running towards danger.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
Yeah.
And so then after the Gurney clip, which was very brief, then we see Baron Harkonnen, but bald this time, and you only see his head, and he's in this oily water, like muddy,
like coming out of a mud bath, like he's having a spa day. And you just get I think you get the tops of his shoulders, and you just get an impression of his mass, but
he's a biggin.
Yeah, this is a guy that gets around with like hover devices and stuff because he can't walk.
It goes full Wally.
Yeah. And I really think he's going to be a pretty impressive special effect and I think it's a practical effect too. Like it's a makeup and like a whole like bodysuit that Stellan Skarsgård is wearing.
I like physical special effects quite a lot better than digital.
Yeah, I think in most cases, or in a lot of cases, they just feel more real to your eyes.
Yeah, And so then it's continuing. The music is building, and then you have Duncan Idaho salutes Paul, and he does it by like he has his sword in his hand, and he hits his chest, and then puts the sword to his forehead, the blade flat, and then Paul does it back. But first of all, I thought that looked cool. I also thought it was cool that Duncan's blade looked like a wakizashi. That's pretty rad. And then I also thought it was rad that Paul has a crysknife.
Yeah, so I actually don't think those scenes don't actually go together.
You don't think so?
I think one is from earlier in the film, and the other one is from after Paul gets in that fight when he first meets the Fremen.
Okay, and he earns his knife.
Yeah, I think that they match those scenes up.
Well, that wouldn't surprise me at all. But I think that it's cool that they included the crysknife and whatnot. Definitely cooler than a weirding module. Is that where Skyrim got that?
I was thinking that today. Foos.
Yeah.
The dragon speak or whatever from Skyrim is a lot like the weirding modules.
It's gotta be. And then they cut to the scene that actually was at the beginning. It should have been near the beginning, where you're actually seeing the sandcrawler being eaten by Shai Hulud, and you're getting this view of like, who is that? Duncan and Gurney, or Gurney and somebody?
It's probably Gurney and Paul, or Gurney and Duke Leto.
That's what I meant. I didn't mean Duncan. Yeah, it's probably Paul and Gurney, maybe Duke Leto.
This is one of these weird snake eating its tail things, but you think of, or at least I do, immediately the Sarlacc from Return of the Jedi, which is based on the sandworms from Dune and not the other way around.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But that's just like Star Wars got it on film first, just by a hair.
Sure, but the books, you know. And so then you move on, more montage, and you see Dr. Yui again. But this time, he's in the company of a bunch of those bald-headed Harkonnens, and they're walking like lockstep, and he's just kind of like got his hand on his head. He's like, oh man, what's going on? Yeah,
I think just from the little bit we get there, he's playing that conflict really well. That betrayal, he isn't sitting well with him.
And then this I didn't really pick this up, so shout out to Nerdist. But they have a brief moment in there with Dr. Liet Kynes, the planetologist, who they had Sharon Duncan Brewster play, which much to the incel nerd community's anger.
Oh, a black woman? Outrageous. She can't be a doctor.
Stupid.
Yeah. So yes, they race bent and gender bent that character.
Sure.
My rule on that is, as long as those things aren't fundamental to the character, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, and obviously it wasn't. I think that as long as the character is portrayed in kind of a professorial way, that's all that matters.
And Dr. Kynes is really is this sort of bridge between the different cultures, between the different clans, and then also between the Fremen and the Atreides. She's
a total she went native.
Yeah.
She's a full Dances with Wolves.
Lawrence of Arabia.
Yeah. She went native, and now people from her own culture have come, and she's the go-between.
Right.
And that's cool. I think the character is awesome in the book. I look forward to actually getting to appreciate this character in the movies, because I liked him in the David Lynch movie. I like that actor. So
it's Max von Sydow and David Lynch, I think?
I can't remember, but I can picture his face. Right, instantly I can pull that up. And so I'm looking forward to this. I'm definitely going to give this actress a shot. I'm wanting to like this movie. So that's where I'm at with this trailer as it gets near its end.
Yeah, some more shots of the Beast and the Harkonnens.
And he's in his full armor, and he's next to regular Harkonnen troopers, and it just highlights how much bigger Dave Bautista is.
Yeah,
like he's huge.
And it's it's been fascinating to kind of watch Dave Bautista go from pro wrestler to actually pretty good actor.
Yeah, he's good.
And it's like, from through the Guardians movies were obviously first, and then he's done a bit more outside of those. And
he did one of those lame father-daughter comedy things. Right?
Oh yeah, My Spy or I Spy or whatever that was.
Anyway, you got to make your money.
Wrestlers always do those movies. Wrestler with little girl.
Has The Rock done a couple of them?
I think so, yeah.
Sure.
And John Cena and Wrestler and little girl is just you get money instantly.
Yeah, because dads bring their daughters, and it's over. And so we get kind of this, we get some more montage. They're not at this point. If you haven't watched the trailer, you should have before listening to this. But it's so crescendo music, like it's just crashing at this point. So everything is just big scenes. There's no dialogue. There's nothing to lead you. You get this look after seeing the Beast. You see Duke Leto, and he's got blood stains on him, and then you see Paul in battle. And then Paul in his Fremen suit and his still suit. It's crazy.
And he's escaping with Lady Jessica and the ornithopter.
And then they show him with a handful of sand and the spice.
Yeah, you can just see the spice like sparkling in the sand.
It kind of looks like what I imagine pumpkin spice looks like.
It is orange.
It's orangey brown.
Yeah, so there's just like these orange sparkles. And I love, it's kind of well known, I love the color orange. So like I just thought like, oh, that sand looks really cool. It didn't even like immediately occur to me that I was seeing the spice in the sand. I just kind of thought that was really pretty sand.
Yeah, I looked at it and I was like, is there glitter in that sand? Oh, it's spice.
Yeah.
It's like pumpkin spice.
Yeah, like the way that like basic Karens have a jar of sand in the bathroom.
Yeah, exactly.
I would put a jar of that sand in my bathroom.
Oh yeah, give me a jar of melange.
It's only the most valuable substance in the galaxy.
You use it as potpourri, right?
Yeah, I just like the way it brightens up the room.
Oh man.
And then we Duncan Idaho calling Paul Duke.
Yeah.
My
Lord Duke as he kneels. And then you get Paul doing the litany against fear. One of the most quoted things from the books. Fear is the mind killer. I mean, there's an album I like named after that. There's a lot of things out there that use fear is the mind killer. But I don't know, did they shorten it for the trailer, or are they going to shorten it for the movie too? Because he cuts out the middle.
No, I think that's just for the trailer. We're just
because if they shorten the whole thing, oh man, flip.
I don't think so. I think this will be like a 3+ hour movie, and
it had better be.
You're not going to be missing monologues.
Yeah, I mean 2.5 is about as short as you can do it.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. There's no way.
And so they cut out the middle. And I think it's just because they wanted to end on, the last line, like "Only I will remain" or whatever. And then the music, which is at an all-time high, it stops, and then you just see the rumbling of sand, and it's like Jurassic Park.
Oh, totally. And the sand starts sucking in, as the worm is coming up to the surface, and you see Duncan shouts for them to run, and Paul and Lady Jessica are trying to make it to these rocks before the Shai-Hulud comes to the surface, and it's really good, really tense.
Oh yeah, you're like, holy crap, are they gonna make it?
Yeah. And then you see the worm come out, and it's tough to make, what is this, like a giant worm look cool.
Yeah, it looks scary and cool, and like interesting when it's a worm.
Yeah. But it did. I think
100%.
Yeah,
it's awesome. It kind of looks like a gigantic lamprey mouth.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's really gnarly looking. And it roars at them in kind of this roaring trumpeting kind of a way.
Yeah.
And they make it onto the sand, and then the trailer ends.
Yeah, and I think they might have played that whole track like the actual length it is on the Pink Floyd album, and cut almost like cut the trailer to the track.
You think so?
Yeah, because the trailer or the track also drops out and then is quiet for like the last so many seconds of it, the same way that the way the trailer does.
That would not surprise me, honestly, because it does seem like the music just goes perfectly with the trailer. So maybe they just decided to let the music be the guide.
Yeah,
and just do that.
So, anyways, that's the end of the trailer. That's our deep dive of a trailer.
Yeah, deep dive of a trailer is only about an hour for a three-minute trailer. We're getting better.
Yeah. Final thoughts. What did the trailer work for you? What didn't work?
So, the opening scene with Paul's sleepy eyes and his mumble rasp, I was like, but by the end of it, I was on board.
Yeah.
They really got me on board with it. I love Duncan Idaho. I love Gurney Halleck. I'm all for the Beast Raban in this movie.
You know, we never see
Fade.
Yeah, Fade Routha does not make an appearance.
You think he's in the movie?
Oh, he's definitely
got to be.
He's definitely in the movie.
You think they could get Sting to do it just as a surprise?
I think they've announced who plays Fade.
Man, nobody will do it like Sting.
No, that's true.
I will kill him.
All I see is Atreides I want to kill.
And that crazy cod piece of his.
Oh, man. Yeah. So
I'm on board for all these characters. I think I didn't see any actor that I thought wasn't doing justice to the look of the characters. Obviously, there's a lot of actors that we haven't seen their chops. Like, we got almost nothing from Lady Jessica, but she looks right. We got almost nothing from Chaney, just kind of some intense looks. But I think she looks right. Hopefully, it will be awesome. I have high hopes. So my final thought on this is that the trailer was successful in building hype.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I was hyped for this anyway, and I'm more hyped for it now. It's probably my most anticipated movie right now.
When's it coming out?
I have the IMDb pulled up right here.
Because that's, man, I hope
December 18th, 2020.
Oh man, that'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Holiday season. Definitely.
Yeah. Don't see your family. Go and see Dune.
Yeah, wear a mask.
So the trailer very much worked for me. Like I said, it's my most hyped movie at the moment. I really like that it makes you feel like you're getting a lot more than you are. If I wasn't so familiar with the subject matter, I would think like, oh man, this trailer gave away everything. But it
gave away nothing.
It gave away nothing, and there is so much yet to reveal.
Yeah, because this property is so deep. This story is just so much. Like there's so much we never saw, like Paul's sister and all this stuff. Like there's so much more.
I'm looking at the IMDb right now, and Fade Routha is not listed, so it is a surprise casting if he shows up.
Sting.
Are we going to take bets? Do you think it's Sting? I don't think it's Sting.
I hope it is.
That'd be amazing. All right. Well, we'll see you in December, divers, and we'll let you know.
All right. So for my call to action, definitely subscribe to us on your favorite podcatcher, particularly on Spotify. A 5-star review costs you nothing but means everything to us.
You can find us across all social media platforms in the Metaverse as Deep Dive the Meta. We're on Instagram, which I prefer. We're on Twitter, which Dave likes, but we're also on Pinterest, which no one likes.
Absolutely. Well, I guess this is really goodbye.
Don't say goodbye. Say good journey.